Hello Zero Wasters and welcome back to Bottega Zero Waste. If you're new to the channel, my name is Marta and here we chat about all the ways you can adopt to live a little bit more zero waste with less. In today's video, I'm going to talk about a topic that is quite important that you familiarize yourself with if you're planning to make your first natural soap. Now, this topic is also one that is considered to be the most challenging for anybody that is new to soap making. Okay, I'm gonna get to the point. This is lye. What is lye? So lye is, in chemistry, sodium hydroxide. This is the ingredient that you must know how to handle if you want to make your own natural soap. A lot of you ask me, well, can I make soap without lye? No, because natural soap would not exist without lye. Soap is the very reaction of the sodium hydroxide with your chosen oils. It's the only way you can make soap from scratch. You can decide to make soap using the melt and pour method, for example, which involves a ready-made base that you can just melt. You can add fragrances, so essential oils to it, colors, and then pour again. But that's not making soap from scratch. The benefit of making soap from scratch is obviously that you can choose exactly each ingredient that goes into your soap. So, however, the caveat is that you need to know how to handle lye safely. The very reason why lye is able to transform oils into soap is that lye is a very caustic ingredient. So basically, it's really able to transform fats into soap. Lye is made up by granules and therefore it must be dissolved into a liquid before it can be added to your oils and then therefore transforming those oils into soap. Therefore, if you get any lye on you, then it will burn your skin and it's potentially really dangerous. That's why we need to familiarize ourselves with the safety measures. Remember, everything that has some potential side effects can be really dangerous if you don't follow the safety measures really precisely. For example, let's take driving. Now, we all know that driving is potentially quite dangerous, especially if you don't follow the safety measures, which could be, first of all, getting a driving license. Second, driving with your seatbelt on. Third, never text and drive at the same time. Well, the same goes for lye. You have to follow some very strict safety measures and you must never skip any of them for whatever reason. The very first thing that we should absolutely, for nothing in the world, ever skip on are safety tools. These are, number one, a pair of reusable goggles. So they're probably not the sexiest thing you can wear, but they keep you safe. So why do we need big safety goggles as opposed to maybe just wearing things like, I don't know, like sunglasses or anything that is just covering your eyes? Or even, for example, you might think, well, I wear glasses already. No, you have to have something that is quite large and is gonna protect all of your eyes and most of your face, also on the sides. This is done in the eventuality that there are some splashes that potentially could, get into your eyes. And we only have a pair of eyes and we absolutely must do everything we can to protect them, and this is how you do it. Second, a pair of gloves. So these are obviously to protect your hands and kind of like your arms. You can use any rubber reusable gloves. Also, if you're making a big batch, if you want an extra layer of safety, I always advise you can wear long sleeves and also avoid wearing sandals or open shoes. It is best to wear just like normal closed shoes and long pants instead of like a skirt, anything that can like cover your body as much as possible, basically. I'm gonna take it off because it's really hot today. Next, you'll need a respirator or a mask. Now, this is for two reasons. One, obviously, if you have something that is covering your face, that's even an extra layer of protection. Plus, when you pour the lye into the water, it will create a few fumes because the reaction is quite strong, as I was saying before, and therefore the temperature of the water will rise really fast. I recommend to stay close to a window and just like open the window and let some air come through to get those fumes out. Keep any pets and children away from you when you're making soap, and keep the lye out of reach. I recommend storing the lye in a cabinet, maybe all the way up where a pet or a child can never reach it, and it's completely safe and out of reach. Materials are also important in soap making when we're handling lye. You should absolutely never use aluminium when making soap, because the lye, chemically speaking, can react with aluminium and cause a reaction. Therefore, we should always use either stainless steel, that is the best you can use because it's very, very resistant, it's heat resistant and it's not gonna react with the lye. Or you can use Pyrex glass, really, really thick and resistant Pyrex glass, but I only recommend it for very small batches. I would not recommend it if you're making a large batch. Stainless steel is always the best option out there for mixing your lye. Always keep your work area clean and clutter-free so that there are less chances for any spills to happen. Also, keep your hair tied in a bun if your hair is long so that you have less distractions. Finally, when you're mixing the actual lye with the water, there is one rule you should never forget. And that is, we always add the lye to the water and never the opposite. So there is one way you can remember it, and it's like a little song I used to play in my head. It sounds a little bit dramatic, but it's literally the only way I remembered it. So it goes, if you add the water to the lye, you will die. Add the lye to the water to make it proper. Another important thing when it comes to lye safety is temperature. That's why it's handy to have a thermometer. You can use a digital thermometer or like a candy kind of stick one or meat thermometer. I wouldn't use any of those glass thermometers because it could break with the heat. And the best is obviously the laser long distance thermometer. When the lye is added to the water, it will reach really high temperatures. There are a few ways to control the temperature. One is to use cold water. So what I do, I like to put my water, the water that I will use for the soap making, into the refrigerator. I leave it there overnight and then I use it literally really cold when I am making the lye water. You can also, if you want, add like 2 or 3 cubes of ice. It is essential that you absolutely, for no reason, use any hot water when making lye. So for example, let's say that you want to make a soap with tea instead of water. You absolutely have to let this tea cool down and refrigerate into the fridge, and never use it when it's hot, because again, the temperature could rise so much that it could even cause like a mini explosion. Lastly, when we're making soap, we should also consider the lye concentration. The more water you use, the more diluted the lye solution will be, and therefore the less concentrated and less dangerous it will be. If for any reasons you do get any lye on you, maybe like a small splash, the first thing that you have to do is to run the affected area under cold water for at least 15 minutes. At the same time, you must seek medical help. I know it's a lot of things to remember, but don't worry. I am hosting a free online soap making workshop where I will guide you through all of these before you make your first soap. When you sign up to the free online workshops, completely free to attend, you will get all the necessary instructions. Included in these instructions is exactly the checklist of everything we've just been through in this video on how to handle lye safely.